Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an Airbus pilot, and well, I recently posted my review of the Latin VFR A340 and got this little comment there from Mathijs of PMDG asking if I could do that one in Lukla. Certainly the A340 can stop in time after seeing that braking action, and I have to admit I did try, but well, it just bounced off the runway the entire time when we went upslope, thereby reducing the friction of the tires and basically cancelling out the brake effect. Now, that is slightly different though if we do take a proper piece of an aircraft, such as this little beauty right over here, the Phoenix A320. For the Lukla scenery, by the way, if you're wondering, I got myself the treat of the new Aerosoft scenery, which is just really nice. Okay, so, with all of that aside, let's go ahead and have a quick look into some of the, let's call them, scientific backgrounds of what we are going to do today. So, first of all, we made our airplane almost empty. We got 3,000 kilos of fuel and we basically got no passengers on board at all. So, we're looking at a gross weight of just 47 tons over here. Apart from that, I didn't do any FMS setup because all that we will need today is going to be based off the angle of attack sensors, and that's basically the minimum speed information on the primary flight display. And that's based off the angle of attack and the configuration of our slats and flaps. Therefore, no need to fill in anything on the FMS. Apart from that, I am going to switch off the GPWS because Lukla is too small to be part of the nav database. Therefore, the GPWS would think we're flying right into a mountain and thus give us a lot of nuisance warnings. Apart from that, our general setup, clear skies, good weather conditions. As you can see, the wind is pretty much calm, and we have positioned ourselves as far backwards as possible on the runway for the takeoff, and we will try to touch down as early as possible for the landing. So, that's pretty much the theory behind what we are going to do today. So I'd say we are going to set our takeoff thrust here with the brakes still standing, and then we're going to release the brakes as soon as we are ready to go. Now the last thing over here, as you can see, I have turned on the high altitude landing option and I selected the manual landing elevation to the field elevation, because otherwise we would keep warnings getting thrown at us, which we don't necessarily want. Okay, so we'll let the thrust stabilize at maximum. Also keep an eye on the EGT here, that's getting pretty warm. Okay, so we're pretty much at maximum thrust, brake release, off we go. So this is about maximum power that you can get out of the A320. Look at that trend vector, completely to the top of the display. Okay, we'll use this as an aircraft carrier.
Pull up.
And here we go. Okay, positive climb. We can keep the landing gear down though. And here we are out of Lukla. In case you didn't see it, elevation of the approach end of the runway, of the landing runway that is 9,100 feet. Okay, cabin pressure, landing elevation fault, we can clear that away. Reduce our thrust, make it straight and level, and next up we're going to do a procedure turn over here in order to align ourselves with the valley again to get back. So if you want to get back exactly on the same track that you flew out on, here's how you can easily do it. Make sure you maintain a constant altitude and speed during your maneuver, and then, in order to start the procedure turn 80 degrees to the left, followed by 260 degrees to the right. Or the other way around, of course. As long as you maintain constant speed, you will basically end up exactly where you started the procedure. And that is basically the secret behind flying a procedure turn. Okay, so you can see I've already selected the rose mode of the ND, set my heading bug to where we started, and as soon as that is 10 degrees prior to the 90 degree marker, so basically now, we're going to start turning the other way around, and that is going to put us straight back to where we started, so that we can start our approach to Lukla right from there. Of course, be sure that you use the same bank angle during the entire maneuver, otherwise you will obviously get yourself offset. But this works pretty fine. Now, a little bit of wind is always there in Microsoft Flight Simulator, even when you select the default fair weather scenario. So, well, we'll just have to deal with that and the little bit of turbulence that it induces. Now let's quickly talk about how we're going to fly the approach itself. Basically, we are going to get ourselves almost down to the field elevation, just a tiny bit above that, because we want to make sure that we don't accidentally crash the plane into the hill ahead of the runway. So almost down to the field elevation, and fly the plane down into the VLS, but just keep it far enough out from the alpha protection range so that we still have full airplane maneuverability. Alright, what does this look like from the outside? Pretty nice, doesn't it? This is where we came from. This down there, behind that little rock, is Lukla. So 30 degrees to turn, and you can see we are basically ending up exactly where we started, right in the middle of the valley. Okay, very good. So now let's start the challenge of getting the airplane into a good position for the approach. We're going to keep it a little bit to the left of the valley so that we get as long of a final as possible. Okay then, flaps full. The landing checklist will eventually come up, but the important things here are brakes medium, landing gear down, and full flaps are set. So approach speed somewhere down to about 115 knots, something in that region. Should be just fine. Runway is located just over here, and that basically brings us a nice approach. If we just fly across the mountain range over here, then make our right hand turn, and that should bring us nicely onto the final. Now be aware that due to the huge slope of the runway, it may look like we are approaching much too high, which will give us a tendency to try and come in too low. With the huge upslope of the rising terrain before the runway, that could very easily end up deadly, so we gotta be careful that we don't break the airplane over there. Basically, we got 1,000 feet to run for our descent. Our indicated airspeed is just about looking good. We can get it a little bit lower down into the VLS band. Alright, and there's our landing runway just over there. Okay, turning final. Now with that wind over here, it's rather hard to actually keep the... Yeah, don't complain, my friend. Your speed is good. It's exactly where we want it to be. Okay, we only have 400 feet remaining to our field elevation. That means we just gotta time it carefully, that we don't waste any runway, but that we also don't come in too low. You can see, looking at the runway, it looks like we are coming in really steep, but in fact we are not. Okay, now we're getting a little slow. Come on, Airbus. Accelerate a little. Okay, this is looking good.
4.
Idle. Flare.
20. Retard.
And here we are. We even need thrust to get it up the rest of the mountain here. So, positive landing for sure, but the airplane is still usable. Was less than 1,000 feet a minute here. We didn't break it entirely, even though an inspection might be required, but that was not the name of the game, was it? Alright guys, I do hope you enjoyed this one. Surely this looks a lot better than this. So with all of that, all I can say is thank you very much for watching, my friends. I do hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, be sure to let me know in the comments below. I'm very much looking forward to your feedback on this one. And if you liked a couple of fun videos every now and then with situations like these, be sure to put it in the comments below and let me know the next challenges. Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you did, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And with all of that, if you liked the video, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're up for more. And if you really love what I'm doing, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me a Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you for watching, and see you all again on the next one.